Welcome, dear dreamer. As you settle beneath your blanket, allow your body to soften with every breath. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly through your lips. Feel the calm rise within you, like a gentle tide washing over the shore of your mind. The world outside can rest for a while. This is your time to drift, to dream, and to wander softly into a story woven from peace and starlight. The Winter Lantern Library, a cozy sleep story for grown-ups. The first snow of the season always carried a quiet kind of magic, a softness that seemed to hush the entire world and make every thought settle like flakes upon a calm lake. Tonight, as winter gently swept across the northern coast, you found yourself returning to a place you had not visited in years. The Winter Lantern Library, a cliffside haven built from dark stone and warm cedar, standing like a guardian over the icy ocean below. You make this journey not out of obligation, but out of longing. A quiet anticipation rests in your chest. You are meeting someone precious, someone you have missed more than you've allowed yourself to admit. And as the last lavender light of dusk dissolves into the blue of a winter evening, you begin your slow approach toward the library's lantern-lit front steps, breathing in the bracing crystalline air. The walk toward winter. A gentle crunch accompanies each of your footsteps as you walk along a narrow trail traced by frozen grass and powdery snow. Wind drifts softly at your shoulders, carrying a mingled scent of salt water and pine resin. The sky, washed in muted purples, presents a soft glow as if winter itself were exhaling. The coastal cliffs stretch endlessly to your left. Below, the ocean is a dark sheet of silver, occasionally broken by the white crest of a wave meeting the rocks. Everything feels ancient, patient, and deeply grounding. You adjust your thick wool coat, appreciating its insulating weight. Your scarf, hand-woven years ago, presses warmly against your chin. As you continue toward the library, old memories surface. Afternoons spent reading by giant windows, nights listening to storms roll over the sea, and quiet conversations that lasted until the fire burned low. Those memories once belonged to a different chapter of your life, but tonight, you are ready to open a new one. A beacon of warmth. Ahead, perched atop the cliff like a lighthouse turned inward, the Winter Lantern Library begins to glow. Frosted lanterns dangle from carved wooden beams, swaying just enough to scatter circles of amber light on the snowy ground. The building itself looks like something rescued from a fairy tale. Tall, arched windows, stone walls streaked with years of ocean mist, and a wide oak door wrapped in a garland of evergreen sprigs and winterberries. Above the doorway hangs a sign burned into cedar. Lanterns of knowledge, warmth for the wanderer. You smile. Somehow, the place looks exactly as you remember it, maybe even warmer. As you approach, you notice light dancing from within, flickering across the frosted glass like the heartbeat of the building. With every step, the world feels a little bit quieter, a little more serene. And when you reach the entrance, your hand warms instantly against the brass handle. You push the heavy door open. A gentle chime rings overhead, welcoming you home. The first embrace of warmth. The library greets you with a wave of comforting heat and fragrance old books, cedarwood smoke, spiced tea, and a faint memory of citrus. A large cast iron stove glows at the center of the room, radiating a deep, steady warmth that instantly melts the cold from your cheeks. The interior is a treasure trove of cozy architecture. Towering bookshelves of dark walnut, velvet armchairs in deep forest green, snow-dusted windows framed by heavy curtains. A high-beamed ceiling from which lanterns hang like captured stars. And there, by the hearth, adjusting their gloves with a nervous smile, is the person you've come to meet. Your heart recognizes them before your mind forms the thought. Time, busyness, and distance melt in an instant as your eyes meet. They stand. You step forward. And before any words can rise, you share a long, grounding embrace, one that speaks of years missed, of a connection that has waited patiently for this winter night. Warmth fills your chest, stronger than the fire behind you. Settling into the night, you both choose a pair of chairs beside a wide window that looks out over the dark, shimmering sea. A low wooden table sits between them, holding ceramic mugs painted with swirling constellations. The librarian, a gentle, silver-haired woman wearing a soft blue shawl, approaches with a smile as warm as the fire. She places 2 steaming drinks before you. One spiced winter tea, fragrant with cardamom and orange peel, and a deep, velvety hot cocoa with hints of toasted vanilla. You thank her as she retreats with the quiet grace of someone who has spent decades tending to stories and seekers. You and your companion cradle your warm mugs, letting the steam brush your faces. Conversation begins slowly gentle, familiar, unhurried. You talk about the long months that have passed, the unexpected turns of life, and the small joys you've rediscovered. Their laughter, soft and warm, fills the space between you like a soothing melody. Outside, the snow begins to fall large, lazy flakes drifting beneath the lantern-lit eaves. They cling to the windows, melting into tiny rivulets that glimmer as though the glass is crying tears of light. Wandering the library. After finishing your drinks, you both rise and begin exploring the library's winding shelves. You run your fingers across leather-bound volumes, some of which have sat on these shelves longer than either of you have been alive. Each step echoes softly on the polished wooden floorboards. Your companion pauses at a shelf of old folklore books, tracing a finger along the spines. "This place always felt like magic," they whisper. You nod. "It still does." At the far end of the main hall, you find the lantern gallery, a long hallway filled with ancient lanterns hanging from brass hooks. Each lantern glows with a unique hue: soft blues, gentle ambers, pale greens, rosy pinks. Small plaques below each lantern display the name of the person who donated it. One lantern in particular calls to you, a warm, honey-colored glow. You do not remember seeing it here before. Your companion reads the plaque aloud. "For travelers who need a light to find their way back." The warmth of the lantern seems to pulse softly toward you, as if acknowledging your presence. You squeeze your companion's hand gently. Tonight, you did find your way back. A moment by the hearth. Back in the main hall, you settle near the fire once more. The logs crackle as sparks jump upward, dancing like tiny golden fireflies. Shadows flicker along the walls, and the lanterns above sway slightly from the draft of the old chimney. You share another heartfelt exchange stories you haven't told anyone else lately. Quiet hopes for the coming year, gentle reflections about rest, healing, and how important it is to pause once in a while. Your companion listens with a presence that feels grounding, patient, real. Time slows. Your muscles loosen. Your breath becomes softer, deeper. For a while, you both sit in comfortable silence, simply listening to the whispering fire and the distant roar of the winter ocean below the cliffs. Closing time. Eventually, the librarian begins her closing routine. She moves through the aisles gently, extinguishing lanterns one by one until only the softest lights remain. The shadows deepen, becoming cozier rather than darker. Snowflakes continue to tap rhythmically against the windows. Your companion stands, offering you their coat with quiet tenderness. The gesture makes you smile, an old habit of theirs, unchanged by the years. You both thank the librarian as she wraps a scarf around her shoulders. "May your night be peaceful," she says warmly, "and may winter bring you clarity." You step out into the night. The walk back to your sanctuary. The cold is sharp but exhilarating. The air tastes clean, like mint and ice. You and your companion lock arms as you walk down the snowy trail toward the cliffside cabin you rented for the weekend. The moon rises slowly, casting an opal glow across the snow-covered world. The path soon opens into a clearing where your cabin stands. A small cedar structure perched near a cluster of wind-bent pines, windows glowing amber through frosted glass. The roof glitters under the moonlight, dusted with fresh snow. Inside, the warmth embraces you instantly. Inside the cliffside cabin, your companion heads toward the stone fireplace and expertly builds a fire, arranging the logs, lighting them carefully, coaxing the flame into a steady blaze. The room brightens with flickering gold, shadows dancing across the low-beamed ceiling. You slip into soft flannel loungewear and warm socks. A deep sense of calm settles over you. Together, you share a simple late-night snack: warm bread with honey butter, a few slices of crisp pear, and herbal tea brewed from dried wildflowers. Everything tastes richer in the quiet glow of the fire. When the meal ends, silence settles again. A peaceful, companionable silence that doesn't need filling. Preparing for rest. You step into the small washroom. The scent of handmade soap, snow, fennel, and chamomile fills the air as you wash your face with warm water. Your muscles loosen beneath the soothing heat. The cold outside feels like a distant memory now. You change into your sleepwear and make your way to the bedroom. It's a charming space, paneled cedar walls, soft white fairy lights draped along the beams. A thick quilt patched in deep blues and winter creams. A window overlooking the moonlit ocean. You crawl under the quilt. The weight is comforting, like a gentle embrace. Your companion turns off the main lantern, leaving only the soft glow of a small bedside candle. Outside, the ocean murmurs quietly against the rocks. The wind hums like a lullaby. Snow continues its steady, whispering fall. Your eyes grow heavy. Your breath deepens. All the warmth of the library, the companionship, the fire, the long-awaited reunion. It gathers around you like a cocoon. And as you drift toward sleep, one thought settles softly in your mind. Tonight, you came back to yourself. And tomorrow, new memories will be waiting. The candle flickers once, and the world melts gently into dream. Good night.